Hello, happy weekend. Welcome to another spooky weekend vlog. The intention for this one is again for self-care, but I also really want to use the theme of like the mummy this weekend and get a lot of self-care done, do a lot of cozy hobbies that involve the mummy in one way or another. My first foray into anything historical, but also simultaneously a little bit spooky, was ancient Egypt and mummies. So thinking about what self-care means to me, it means doing a lot of things that brought me joy as a kid and finding ways to keep that childlike enthusiasm for adventure and just the magic of learning new things. I think is something you can bottle up as an adult. It just takes a whole lot of energy. So that's something that I've noticed, that self-care is most powerful when there's some level of nostalgia or childlike references that brings me a lot of comfort. It is also the day before fall starts in my part of the world, and also it is Hallweenathon Eve. I'm so excited. Tomorrow I'm for sure gonna record my first roll using the game board that Kelsey from Simon Slasher created. I have been waiting so dang long to finally use a little candy corn as my game piece and see what I roll. I've been looking forward to this for so long. People have been working so hard on this. Obviously, Kelsey is the brainchild of this, and I'm over the moon excited. I haven't even gotten ready yet fully for the day, but that's kind of like how I actually live my life. I just make coffee and I'll immediately read or watch something. So that's what I decided to do this morning. So I have my coffee and I was watching a few episodes of the Addams Family, which you could stream for free yourself on Pluto TV. You just have to create a free account. I've been wanting to get to that show as well as the Munsters for many, many years. And I have grown up seeing a few of those episodes in my home. My parents love that kind of, black and white movies, classic movies, TV shows. It's something that I have a tolerance for. I have that bandwidth. So I have capacity to watch these kind of shows and understand the context of like how they film and why. And the sitcom vibe of this with like the laugh track every 5 seconds, I thought was very endearing. I'm obsessed with the Addams Family. I think it's so cute, and they do things that like are a little spicy. I'm like, did they really allow that to get past the censors? Like Morticia and Gomez, like they are spicy towards each other, doing things and referencing things and like their euphemisms. I'm like, how did that get passed and published? I don't know, but I was living for it. I'm obsessed. I think it's actually genuinely funny, and I've only seen like the first 2 episodes this morning, but I think it is still timeless. It's still eternal. And I just think over time, you start to evolve into your parents for better or for worse. And I have the trait of my parents now, I've been noticing, where I'll wake up and I want to like watch something and I'm watching like these old black and white movies and shows, and it's comforting for me. So I'll eat some breakfast, I'll get ready for the day, and then I'll start making my mummy brownies. Oh, I just love a theme. Okay, I'm so excited. And I do also plan on doing a little bit more decorating this weekend too. So I really hope that gets done, because it's hard during the week to summon up the energy to just like move around or be creative. But the weekends, I definitely have that capacity. So I'm hoping things will get super, super spooky in here and I could finally just be able to enjoy the space as opposed to like moving things around all the time. So, all right, let's get going. I just had some breakfast and I changed into my mummy t-shirt because yes, that is the theme for this weekend. And also what is on theme is my baking attempt because I love to infuse baking into this channel, but I am by no means a baker. I'm working on that skill, and I find it to be very gratifying when you actually finish baking something. It's like, oh, I accomplished this. I created something out of nothing. And what we're gonna be making is gonna be these mummy brownies, which I picked up at Target. Okay, what the heck, Target? I went to go open up my box and make sure I had everything in it. And I was surprised to find out that I didn't have the candy eyeballs in here. What the heck is going on? I've never had one of these kits before that didn't include something. Nothing was open, and I would never have taken home a box that was looking like it was partially open. So I don't know what happened. So I guess we're just gonna have to make do somehow and figure out how to do this whole like eyeball situation. I might be able to find some like black gel that could be used for eyeballs. We'll see. I just put in the brownies and no mistakes, no big problems just yet. Still peeved about missing my little candy eyeballs in my package. I have about 25 to 35 minutes to wait on that. So I'm gonna do a little bit of laundry and get to setting up my agenda for the week. So just trying to squeeze in some, like, not the most fun adulting tasks, but they're really gratifying when you do have them, because I have lots of laundry piled up and I wanna get to that. Okay, I have attempted to ice these little brownies. It is a struggle because I'm not a big stiff brownie eater. I really like when they're honestly like on the gooey side. So it's difficult to take them out of the pan when it is just, it's like kind of a mess a little bit, but we're making do. It's not the end of the world. Is it even possible to make your brownies look exactly like they are advertised on the front of the box? Let me know if you're that skilled. I am not. If they just even look a little bit like little mummies, I'll be happy. Yay! Okay, success. I made my mummy brownies and they came out really cool. Not gonna lie, some of these look a little wild with their googly eyes, but you know, not all mummies are the same. They've gone through it. They've lived a life or two, or maybe more, depending on their afterlife. But yeah, I'm really excited, and I already tasted a few of them, like a little bit of the bits and pieces that fell off, and it tastes really yummy, so not too stiff or crunchy. That's not my kind of brownie. But now I'm gonna rush to get ready because I did want to go to my local Egyptian museum to increase the vibes, the mummy vibes. And I also plan this evening to watch The Mummy, the one that I grew up with in the 90s, and then a rewatch of The Mummy that is the Universal Monsters movie, which I watched a few years ago, and I don't remember it being a fave, but the 90s one for sure, my goodness. Even the sequel too, my family, like the chokehold The Mummy franchise with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz had on me and my family as a kid. Childhood in a nutshell. So I'm gonna get ready and then I'm gonna head on out, and it's just such a really cool place, so you'll see in a second. Okay, I think I'm literally lost. I went to park in front of the Egyptian museum. Well, actually it wasn't in front of it. I don't, where the hell am I? Yeah, it's kind of like, it's one of their gardens they have. It's like a weird place, but I went to go park in their official parking lot, which is not usually where I go, and now I got all turned around. So I think I'm in the wrong place. I think I need to go across the street. Jesus. So I did eventually find my way to the Egyptian Museum in my local area. The Egyptian Museum is a place I've gone to ever since I was a little girl. Both sets of grandparents took me here, and I do think that ancient Egyptian history was my gateway into who I became as an adult, as being this like huge history lover and being a history teacher, well, social science, but I have my master's in US history, so clearly history is at the forefront of my social science love. It's tough though, because sometimes our childhood faves, our nostalgia, are not always sound or like highly moral things. One thing comes to mind is like, you know, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. That's a huge part of so many people's childhoods, but just the way that she is right now, just so publicly discriminatory and awful, and I don't want to even give her a second moment on my channel, that really does make you not enjoy the thing that you really did love as a kid, and that brought you so much enjoyment and fun and connection with other people and yourself. Just knowing like the discourse around museums today about trying to get back human remains to the indigenous communities that, you know, call those people their ancestors, and they're being held in museums, and just feeling like the Orientalism is definitely showing in parts of this museum that, to my knowledge, isn't being curated by people of Egyptian ancestry. Granted, there are some recreations, like of King Tut's coffin. That's not legit. The original one, I believe, is in the Cairo Museum, which, I mean, is that even being run by Egyptians, or is that like also a remnant of, you know, British colonization? I don't know. And they have like legitimate mummies, which is wild to me. I'm like, okay, why aren't they home in Egypt? Like, how did they get here? But it was cool, on the other hand, to see them with my own eyeballs, not for the first time. They've been here, we're old friends. This is not something that my partner would have wanted to do today. I've taken him here before though, so he has been here, and then we watched The Mummy after. But this is like a definite me thing, and I love that that's how I'm spending my afternoon. I am home. I'm also in my mummy shirt, of course, because At this point, we should already know I love a good theme. And speaking of theme, we are still on brand here. I'm going to be ending my evening with a movie marathon that will end all marathons. So I have this goal for this year where I wanted to watch as many Universal Monster movies as humanly possible throughout the course of 2024. I've been doing a pretty good job so far. I have many vlogs on here where I share my journey with that. So I'll link some down below in the description if you're a Universal Monster fan yourself. So I have this whole DVD set where we have tons, actually all of the Mummy movies that were produced by Universal Monsters, even an Abbott and Costello one, which I don't think I've ever seen. So the first movie I'll see again, but it won't be the first time I see that one, but I've never seen any of the sequels, which I haven't heard too many positive things about. The Mummy movie of the 90s, starring Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, was such a foundational movie in my household growing up. Like, we were jumping all around on top of furniture, reenacting all of like the little fight scenes. We had all of the movies and the quotes. We just have like these little quips all the time that my siblings and I would say. And I think this was the movie that made me interested in going to places like the Egyptian Museum in my town. And I would be reading about these things. I was a fanatic about these things, and that's the power that media holds. But there's issues when the stuff is like not historically accurate or culturally accurate in many ways. Like the Anck-Cinnamon character, I'm pretty sure was the wife of King Tut. This movie is for sure a problematic fave, so I think I'm gonna start off with that one because it is a reboot of the original Universal Monsters franchise. So I think it'd be cool to see my childhood fave first and then see how many of the old school Mummy movies I can watch and if there's any connections between the two franchises. Oh, hello. Happy Sunday. I mean, it's basically over, but here I am. Hello, checking in with you all. I was hanging out with my mom earlier today. There was like this book signing she really wanted to go to. And now I'm heading back home to do some decorating. I was able to do some earlier today, which makes me feel so much better. I don't know why I'm stressing about it. It literally doesn't matter. But I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it does take a lot of time and effort to do. And so I'm trying to like get through it as quickly as possible. So I reap as many benefits as possible from it. You know, benefits being more days to enjoy the space and the ambiance when it's still October, still spooky season. How have I not said this already? Happy start of fall. Happy Hallweenathon. Spooky season is literally here. I can wear all of my horror stuff unabashingly. I got myself some pumpkin spice creamer. I've been wanting some whipped cream that was pumpkin spice flavored. I was about to say scented. Pumpkin spice flavored for a long time. So this will be the one we get for the season. And then I think that's basically it. Oh yes, I needed to stock up on these bad boys because I'm finding that these are my favorite out of the whole harvest bunch, and I needed more. So I'm back home now. I'm gonna eat something because I'm starving. But quickly, I wanted to share with you that unfortunately, I don't think the Mummy Universal Monsters franchise is for me. And I'm not the only one who feels that way. My mom also thought that the Abbott and Costello movie was so boring. And Andrew from It Came From the Page also feels like the entire franchise, not just the Abbott and Costello movie, is such a dud, so boring. You're just seeing the mummy walk, and it just feels like, what was going on with Boris Karloff? Like, was he just totally at his wit's end? And I know I didn't like it originally. I was trying to give it another shot since I'm watching all the movies again, even the ones I've seen. And this year is my Universal Monsters year. And I just, I'm such a completionist, and I want to watch them just to like tick off the boxes on my little list in my like bullet journal where I'm like tracking all my hobbies. But I don't know if I'll actually enjoy spending my time watching these movies when I didn't like the original, and I try to watch Abbott and Costello to like just give me a reason, right? Because I love them. I love the Frankenstein movie and the Dracula one that they're in. But my goodness, like even they couldn't save this franchise. The Mummy was like in 5 minutes of a 75-minute film in the Abbott and Costello one. Like what were they thinking? And I guess to be fair, it was the last Abbott and Costello movie. So maybe they were just like all out of gags, all out of tricks at that point. But I was incredibly bored from like the first 10 minutes. The 90s Mummy franchise, on the other hand, will forever have my heart. It'll be my childhood. It'll be something that always connects me and my siblings together. And that one was still so much fun. It was cool though to watch that movie right before the original Mummy movie because you could see how the people of the 90s franchise used a lot of stuff, whether it was the names or some of the plot points. They used that as inspiration. It changed a few things or used things directly. So it was kind of fun to see it for like Easter eggs. Oh, and you can see in the corner right there, I put up the Corpse Bride poster. So happy. It brings me so much joy. And also this morning on Sprints that Kelsey was hosting to kick off Hallweenathon, which is so much fun, I was reading the Classic Monsters Unleashed short story collection, which is available for free on KU. Andrew from It Came From the Page just so happened to have been reading this week, I think, for the week of Weird, and he was vlogging on this, and last night I was watching it before bed, and he read this short story collection that basically takes classic monsters, Universal or otherwise, and they give them like a whole new twist. And it's a short story collection, so it's quick. And there was one on the Mummy, which I read, and it was so short. It was like a 6-minute read, but it was a good time. It was like confusing in the beginning though, because it's written in a way that it makes you think it's real, but it can't be real, right? It involves a mummy, so like what happens is what you think happens. But I did like that it had nothing to do with ancient Egypt. And speaking of monsters, I have my little shirt on here so you can see the mummy. And thank you, Andrew, for recommending this because I might just like hop into these stories every so often. Since it's on KU, I can take my time. I love a good monster. I really do. Okay, I need to eat something and then I'm just gonna be hanging out here decorating before the sun sets. I will record my first roll of the dice for Hallweenathon. I'm so excited. I truly am. I feel like I've been in a weird situation with my reading where I just don't want to start anything because I know I'm going to be rolling for Hallweenathon and I might get a book prompt. So finally, I'll be able to make decisions. Like I can't even find an audiobook I want to read right now. I do think I need a prompt to ground me and help kind of create some constraints because there's just too many good options right now. Too many good Halloween spooky season options. I'm so excited to see what I'm going to get. I have my dice, I have my game piece, which is just a little pumpkin candy corn, and I have my Hallweenathon board. I'm ready for my first roll of the dice. And then I'm also gonna give myself the opportunity that if I don't wanna do that prompt right then and there, I will go to the extra prompts board and I'll choose something from there because it's all about having fun, right? So without further ado, I'm gonna roll my dice. I rolled a 2. Wow, really making moves here, aren't I? So I'm gonna start right there, front and center on Kitty's Monster Island, and I'm gonna move forward 2 spaces. There I am. Okay, so let me go check out the prompts and see which one matches up with this. Okay, I'm dying. I looked at the prompt and Kitty called it, "And Jesus Wept." That cracked me up, but if you can't already tell, my objective is to read or watch anything that features hell. The first thing that comes to mind is Hell House LLC, which might even be a recommendation from Katrina. I think I remember something like that. Or at least her in a video mentioning that that is something that's perfect to watch during this time of year. And I think I even wrote it down somewhere. So I might watch that. It's in the title, so I think that's all I really need. All right, I think it's time for bedtime. I'm getting a little sleepy here. I'm feeling really good about the decor situation. I'm really loving the way that everything is turning out, and I am seeing everything like come into its own here. I loved being able to channel a childhood fave, which is the Mummy, and being able to experience it in a variety of different ways, whether it was reading, museums, baking, movies, and I have some Hallweenathon homework, the best kind, and that is to watch Hell House LLC. This is, it's Kitty's orders here, and I'm really excited to get to that this week because I do get decision fatigue, and it's, hard when you come home from work and you're just like, what could I do? There's a lot of things you could do, and it's just a lot of mental effort that now I don't have to deal with, so I'm looking forward to that, probably on Wednesday. That'll be my evening treat to relax and hang out, but thanks so much for being here with me as we kick off fall.
fall as I enjoy some childhood spooky favorites. Let me know what you've been getting up to as we're gearing up for spooky season. Have you been decorating? Have you already started to participate in Hallweenathon? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.